Discover how I reclaimed my inherited lake house after my parents sold it for my sister's wedding. Jenna stared at the empty spot where the lake house used to stand, her heart sinking like a stone. The weathered wood and sun-soaked porch had been the anchor of her childhood, the place where laughter danced on the breeze and summer nights shimmered with stars. Now, it was gone. Sold to finance her sister's extravagant wedding, the betrayal seared through Jenna like a hot knife. She was the responsible one, the one who balanced homework, family obligations, and her job at the clinic like a seasoned juggler, yet here she was, feeling utterly abandoned. Every emotion bubbled up as she drove past the colorful houses that once filled her with warmth and belonging. "How could they do this to me?" she whispered, knuckles white on the steering wheel. Her parents, her sister, they had stripped away so much of her identity. The weight of their decisions pressed on her chest, each breath a reminder of what she'd lost. Her phone buzzed, breaking her reverie. It was a message from her sister, dripping with excitement about wedding plans. Jenna's fingers trembled as she read it. The joy her sister expressed felt like salt in her wounds. Gripping the wheel tighter, she thought of the summers spent fishing with her grandfather, of the canoe rides echoing with their laughter. They belonged at that lake. But beneath the crushing sadness, a flicker of resilience ignited. "This isn't over," she vowed, determination rising within her. Jenna began hatching a plan, a grassroots campaign to reclaim the lake house. She drafted flyers that read, "Help us bring the lake home back," her heart pounding with newfound energy with every word she typed. She connected with local businesses, proposing small fundraisers. The bakery would donate cupcakes, the diner would host a chilly night. The spirit of their tight-knit community was palpable, and with each response, hope blossomed anew. Jenna could hear the whispers of awe as people rallied behind her cause, igniting a movement she never knew she could spark. But not everyone was on board. Her sister felt betrayed. "You're making this about you," she shouted during their last fight, frustration pouring from her like a broken dam. Jenna's heart ached. This battle was to reclaim a piece of their family legacy, a piece of themselves, but it felt like a painful wedge separating them further. Before we continue, I need to let you know about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system, and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, hit that bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can drop a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, let me know in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now let's continue. As Jenna delved into her grandfather's war stories, the lessons of loyalty and perseverance illuminated her path. She organized a community event around these narratives, pitching it as a way to honor both the past and future. And excitement filled the air as neighbors began to share their own stories, the event taking on a life of its own. Yet with the event looming, doubts crept in. Would the town stand behind her? Would her family tear further apart? Standing at the precipice of change, Jenna felt the breath of nostalgia on her neck. The lake was more than a home. It was their heartbeat, and she was ready to fight for it. But just as it seemed she could pull everything together, a shocking revelation about her family's past emerged, one that could turn everything she believed on its head. With stakes higher than ever and time slipping away, would Jenna's battle for the lake house lead to healing, or push her family further into the ashes of resentment? Jenna stood at the community center, glancing at the tables decorated with checkered cloths and vibrant flowers. The scent of fresh pastries wafted through the air as people chatted in small clusters. She had poured her heart into planning this event, but as she looked at the crowd, all she felt was the weight of uncertainty. Would it be enough to rally support for the lake house? The stakes felt painfully high. She took a deep breath and approached the microphone. "Thank you all for coming today," she said, her voice almost shaking. She could see familiar faces, friends, neighbors, and even some who grew up with her at the lake. Their smiles reminded her of brighter days. With a quick glance toward the back, she caught a glimpse of her sister, Amy, with arms crossed, her expression unreadable. "Today, we're here not just to share stories, but to reclaim something that was taken from us," Jenna continued, a spark of conviction igniting within her. The lake house is more than bricks and timber. It's our memories, our heritage. A ripple of murmurs echoed through the audience. Jenna's heart raced as she felt the electric energy of the crowd. She shared fond memories, her grandfather teaching her to fish, the holidays spent under the stars, and the laughter that filled the air. Each story pulled them closer, knitting together a community bound by shared nostalgia. As she stepped down, an elder with a sun-weathered face approached her. "You've got spirit, Jenna," he said, placing a calloused hand on her shoulder. "We'll help you. Life's too short to let go of your roots." Encouraged by his words, Jenna spent the next hour gathering signatures for a petition to buy back the lake house. People lined up, sharing their own memories and pledging support. For the first time, she felt like the community was behind her, a powerful force ready to reclaim what was theirs. But just as hope began to swell like the tide, the door swung open. Jenna's parents walked in. Tension seeped into the room as her gaze locked with Amy's. This was not how she had imagined the day. The warmth she had felt moments before turned to ice. "Jenna, what is going on here?" her mother asked, glancing around. There was a flicker of disappointment, but beneath it also laid concern. "This is about the lake house, Mom. We can't just forget it," Jenna clarified, her heart thumping. But Amy's wedding, her father started, struggling to find the words. Jenna couldn't believe it. "This isn't about the wedding," she interrupted, her frustration spilling over. "It's about family. It's about us." Stunned silence followed. Jenna's words hung like smoke in the air, heavy and charged. Her parents exchanged glances that spoke volumes, and her mother sighed heavily. In that moment of quiet, Jenna felt the ground shift beneath her. Her campaign might be drawing lines that could endanger everything. "Let's talk privately," Amy said, pushing through the crowd toward Jenna. "Now." The sisters slipped away to a corner, tension thick between them. "You're embarrassing the family," Amy hissed, frustration shining in her eyes. "You're supposed to be happy for me. And you expect me to stand by while you erase everything that made us who we are?" Jenna shot back, her emotions boiling. "What do you want from me? A fight? Because I don't want to lose you too." Amy pleaded desperately, her voice cracking at the edges. Broadsided by the vulnerability in her sister's words, Jenna hesitated for a moment. Could this struggle for the lake house really tear them apart? Before she could respond, the elder from earlier joined them. "I think what you both want is the same," he said gently. "You're fighting for family, even if it looks different." As Jenna's heart softened, she realized reconciliation might just be possible, but it wouldn't come without deep conversations and hard truths. Together, could they find common ground in a battle for the house, or would they become adversaries in a painful family feud? The event continued around them, but everything felt suspended. Jenna could feel the weight of their shared memories pressing down, urging them to find a way to navigate the tension, not just for the lake, but for each other. Would they face the challenge together, or would their struggle for the lake house drive an even deeper wedge between them? The answer hung in the balance, heavier than ever. Jenna's heart raced as she felt the tension weave tightly between her and Amy. The room was buzzing, but to Jenna, it all faded into a dull hum. In that corner, just she and Amy existed, caught in an emotionally charged loop. The elder's words echoed in her mind. Were they truly fighting for family? "Amy," Jenna began, her voice softer now, "it's not that I don't want you to have your day. It's just," she struggled to find the right words. "The lake house is our legacy. Don't you remember the summers spent there? The 4th of July fireworks? It was our safe space." Amy's expression faltered, and for a moment, Jenna could see the flicker of memories behind her eyes. "I do remember," Amy said finally, her tone edging into reluctant nostalgia. "But we can't live in the past, Jenna. Times change. We're moving forward. And what about our roots? Shouldn't we honor them?" Jenna's voice cracked, the urgency of her plea breaking through. "I feel like I'm losing everything, and now you want to erase our family's history too?" The weight of Jenna's words hung in the air, tangible but delicate. Amy's arms unfolded slightly, a sign of her own internal struggle. "You think I want to erase it? That I don't care?" she asked, hurt spilling over. "I just wanted to build my own life, one that doesn't rely on what was there before. The lake house was a reminder of everything we lost when we moved on. A flurry of emotions twisted inside Jenna. She had considered how much the lake house might represent to Amy not just memories, but also the feeling of being trapped in the past. The sisters stood there, surrounded by the laughter and warmth of the event, yet feeling utterly isolated. Maybe we both feel a little lost, Jenna admitted, tears pricking at the corners of her eyes. I just thought we could stop pretending that everything is fine. This isn't just about the lake, it's about us, Amy. As Jenna's words lingered in the air, a few friends and neighbors began to crowd around them, sensing the tension. The elder shifted closer, observing the exchange with a knowing expression. Family roots can shape who you become, but it's also okay to forge your own path, he said quietly. Exactly. Amy jumped in, her frustration rekindled. This is why I'm marrying Tom. I want new beginnings. I want to make my own memories, not just be bound by the past. Those words hit Jenna like a wave. Fear and anger surged within her, a mix of feeling abandoned while desperately wanting to understand. But can't we do that together? What if we both work to keep the lake house and build our own futures? Her voice was hopeful, expressive, as if reaching out for the bridge that had broken. For a moment, silence engulfed them again, but this time it felt different. Maybe there was a flicker of understanding, a chance to meet in the middle. I want to, Amy said cautiously, her voice wavering with vulnerability. But it's not just up to us. Mom and Dad, they'll never support it. Then we need to show them how much it matters. Jenna suggested, a fierce determination lighting her features. Together. As sisters. Let us fight for what we both love. Each of them lingered on that notion. The idea that something could bind them once more, despite everything. Could they really turn the tide back in their favor? As Jenna looked at Amy, she sensed a shift, a fragile bond forming amidst the chaos. This wasn't just a battle for the lake house. It felt like a chance to reclaim their relationship. But then she spotted her parents, standing at the edge of the crowd, deep in discussion. Their faces were tense. What if they refused to budge? Jenna wondered, fear creeping back in. Would their family ever truly be united again? The uncertainty settled thick between them, as precarious as a tightrope. Jenna's heart sank slightly. The stakes were higher than she ever expected. Still, she felt a glimmer of hope. Could they navigate this storm together? Would their fight for the lake house lead them back to a place of understanding? The questions loomed heavy, just as pressing as the decision they had to make next. What would happen when they had to face their parents together? Jenna took a deep breath, forcing herself to meet Amy's gaze. They had to take that leap. The crowd blurred, conversations faded into a low murmur as she focused solely on her sister. We can do this. I know it feels impossible, but if we fight together, maybe we can show Mom and Dad how much it means to both of us. Amy bit her lip, uncertainty flickering across her features. But you know how they are. They think I'm being selfish for wanting to move on. They'd never support the idea of keeping it for the two of us. Then we need to change their minds. Jenna insisted, excitement bubbling within her. Think about it, if we present a united front, they'll have to recognize how much this truly matters. It's not just a house, it's our childhood, our family, our memories. The briefest of smiles danced across Amy's lips, a glimpse of hope breaking through her frustration. Maybe, but what if they resist? What if it turns into another fight? Ignoring the flutter of apprehension in her stomach, Jenna shook her head. No, this has to be different. We bring them into the conversation, appeal to their emotional side. Remind them of the summers we spent there, the love and laughter. They can't turn away from that. Amy hesitated, her brows knitting together as she carefully considered Jenna's words. The weight of unspoken history lay heavy on them. After a moment, she nodded, but Jenna could see the doubts still hovering in her eyes. Let us just start by talking to them. Together, like you said. Jenna squeezed her sister's hand, willing a spark of confidence into Amy. Just then, their parents stepped closer, rejoining the party as if sensing the distance that had formed. Jenna's stomach twisted. The confrontation seemed inevitable, yet a strange mix of fear and determination surged within her, pushing her to act. Mom, Dad, she called out, her voice cutting through the crowd. The room fell silent as their parents turned to face them. "Can we talk?" The couple exchanged glances before nodding slowly, curiosity mingling with concern. They looked prepared to dismiss whatever Jenna had in mind, but she couldn't back down now. "Jenna, is everything okay?" her mom asked, instinctively stepping closer, a flicker of worry in her eyes. "I hope so," Jenna said, her own heart racing as she glanced at Amy for support. "We need to talk about the lake house." A collective tension filled the air as hushed whispers erupted around them, their friends keenly aware that something important was unfolding. "Do we really need to?" their dad replied, his voice laced with impatience. "We've already made our decision. It's not just yours to decide." Jenna burst out, her voice rising, instant regret flooding her. She could feel Amy's surprise beside her, but this was too important to hold back. "We both love that house. It's not a memory to throw away like a broken toy. It's our legacy." Their father looked taken aback, and Jenna noticed her mother's eyes soften slightly at the passion in her words. "Jenna, sweetheart, I understand," her mom began, but Jenna interrupted. "No," she said firmly, the words pouring out with a fierce urgency. "You don't understand. This isn't just about wanting the house. It's about us as a family. About memories. About honoring where we came from." The silence that followed was thick with tension. Jenna's pulse quickened. She could sense the shifting undercurrent, the possibilities hanging in the air like a storm cloud. Could they open their parents' hearts to the truth behind their request? "It's not too late," Amy whispered, a tremor in her voice. Jenna glanced at her sister, finding solidarity in her worry. Mom and Dad exchanged tense looks. Jenna held her breath, praying that love would overpower their stubbornness. Then, unexpectedly, her father broke the silence. "What do you think we should do?" he asked, his words tentative yet inviting. Jenna's heart pounded in her chest. This was a crack in their armor. "Let us talk," she said, stepping forward. "Together. As a family." As they began discussing the lake house, Jenna's hope flickered brighter. But beneath it all lingered the reality that fighting for what they loved meant confronting deeper wounds than she had anticipated. What would emerge from this family discussion? Would they find a path that honored their past while embracing the future? Jenna felt the weight of her parents' eyes on her as the air thickened between them. The tension felt electric. She took a shaky breath, willing herself to project confidence even as her heart raced like a drum. "We understand there's a lot of emotion around the lake house," her mom started, her voice softer now, "but moving on is part of life." "Moving on doesn't mean forgetting," Jenna interjected quickly, a plea in her tone. "The lake house isn't just a physical space. It's where we learned to swim, where we spent summers sitting on the dock, and where we built so many memories as a family." Amy stepped closer to Jenna, clutching her arm as if drawing strength from her words. "It's our sanctuary," she added, her voice trembling, but steady enough to be heard. "I know you want us to grow up, but letting go doesn't have to mean erasing everything we've shared." Their dad rubbed his forehead, struggling with the emotions swirling around him. "We need to think about practicality, girls," he said, his eyes narrowing slightly. "That house requires a lot of upkeep, and it's expensive. We can't just keep it for nostalgia." "I get that," Jenna replied, her voice firm, "but we're asking for the chance to keep it in the family. This is about connection, about creating a space where we can come together, even when life takes us in different directions." Her mom exchanged glances with their dad, the unspoken weight of family matters hanging in the air. Sensing the shift, Jenna pressed on. "Remember when we had that big family barbecue last summer? Everyone was there, the laughter, the kids running around, the way it felt like home. That's what we want to preserve. We want our own kids to experience that love." A soft gasp escaped Amy as she watched her parents absorb Jenna's words. It felt like they were teetering on the edge of accepting a different perspective. "We could manage the costs," Jenna continued. "A little sacrifice here and there, some family efforts, even sharing the responsibilities. We can do this together." Their dad sighed deeply, the kind of sigh that spoke to long-held dreams and disappointments. "It's just hard to let go," he admitted, his voice shaking slightly. I didn't think you both would want to cling to that place so much. We thought we were doing what was best. Jenna felt a glimmer of hope at his admission. Maybe we can figure this out as a family. We can adjust how we use it, make it work for everyone. No, Amy suddenly exclaimed, her eyes flashing with newfound determination. This is about more than just the past. It's about the future. We want to build new memories, to honor the love and unity we've always had. We're asking for a chance to own it, just like you did. Their mom blinked back tears, forgotten memories clearly surfacing in her mind. You both are so passionate about this, and that makes me proud. We may have overlooked the importance it holds for you. As their conversation hung in the air, the external chatter of the party faded into the background. Every heart seemed to be beating in sync, a family united in this pivotal moment that had potential to change everything. Can we think about it? Their father finally asked, his tone softer, reading the love that radiated from both daughters. Maybe we approach it differently. Please, Jenna urged. Let us show you what it could mean for us. The atmosphere shifted as hope mingled with uncertainty. Would their parents truly consider this idea? Would they trust the girls to take on the responsibility? Jenna's fingers tightened around Amy's, feeling the burning fire of unity between them igniting passion as old as their family's summer tradition. But just as they were ready to celebrate this tentative breakthrough, a loud crash echoed nearby, an accidental collision of party guests. The connection was abruptly interrupted as everyone turned toward the commotion, a reminder of the world outside their intimate circle. Maybe we should continue this conversation later? Jenna suggested hesitantly, trying to keep the momentum. Definitely, Amy agreed, her voice still vibrant with hope. But Jenna couldn't shake the feeling that they had just begun to scratch the surface of something far more complex. How deep did their parents' reservations run? What would this mean for Jenna and Amy moving forward? The possibilities hung in the air, uncertain yet full of promise. As laughter and noise erupted from the party, Jenna felt her heart race anew for the next part of the journey. She glanced at Amy, and they silently vowed to fight for what they cherished. But what if their parents still held secrets of their own regarding the lake house? Would discussing it lay the path to healing, or would deeper fractures emerge? Jenna could feel the storm brewing ahead. The laughter and music from the party swirled around them, a stark contrast to the heavy emotions Jenna felt brewing inside. She turned to Amy, who wore a determined expression. "We can't let this slip away," Jenna whispered, the urgency evident in her voice. "I want to let them forget how much it means to us," Amy replied, her grip tightening around Jenna's hand. "We need a plan." As they made their way back to the main group, the sight of their parents smiling and chatting with friends sparked a mix of frustration and determination within Jenna. She watched their dad, aware of his vulnerabilities. Even amidst the laughter, he wore a mask of weariness. How could they dismantle the walls he'd built around his feelings? Time felt slippery, the urgency pressing down on her chest. The pair rejoined their parents, who were engaged in conversation with their aunt. Jenna tried to focus on the light banter, but her mind raced. What happens now? She thought. What if there's more to this than just a house? Are you girls okay? Their mom asked, glancing at them with concern. We're great. Amy responded a bit too enthusiastically, as if rallying the troops. Jenna caught her sister's eye, and the unspoken understanding passed silently between them. They needed to seize the moment, and soon, later in the day, as the sun began to dip below the horizon, casting a warm glow over everything, Jenna noticed the porch swing where she and Amy used to race towards in their wild summers. A pang of nostalgia washed over her, but at the same time sparked new resolve. "Let us take a picture there," she suggested, wanting to capture the fleeting moment together. "Good idea," Amy exclaimed as they dashed over, their laughter echoing in the quiet. They posed, arms around each other's shoulders, and their dad snapped the photo. The click of the camera felt like an anchor in time, a reminder of joy even amidst the seriousness of their earlier discussion. Moments later, as their parents prepared to say goodbye to other guests, Jenna knew this was her chance. "You guys, can we talk again, just us?" She gestured away from the crowd. "I want to build on what we started about the lake house." The intent behind her words was fierce, almost desperate. She hoped they could still feel the warmth growing in her heart. Her dad looked hesitant, but her mom nodded, eyes glistening with emotion. "Of course," her mom said. "What's on your mind?" Jenna glanced at Amy, then back at her parents, searching for the right words. "What if we host the family gatherings from now on? We could have holidays there, or family game nights." She felt momentum growing, like waves rising from the lake. It would be a space for everyone, and we could always keep the spirit alive. Her dad's brow furrowed, a sign that he was weighing her words carefully. "It's not just the upkeep, Jenna. It would require a lot of effort. What if it becomes burdensome? I worry it'll divide us instead of bringing us closer. Or it could bind us," she insisted, her voice rising with passion. "The kids would have a place to play, to grow together, just like we did. We would be redefining what the lake house means." The silence between them expanded, the weight of their fears and hopes tangled in the air like fishing line. She sensed they were at a crossroads. Every word could push them either towards acceptance or setback. "Maybe we should consider a trial period," their mom suggested, breaking the tension. "Just to see how you all can manage it together, really?" Jenna's heart swelled. "That could work. We'll help maintain it." But just as relief washed over Jenna, a thought struck her. What if their parents had other reasons for wanting to let the house go? Total commitment felt like a step forward, but what if they were holding back important truths? "I can promise you will fight for it. But what if there are things you haven't told us?" Her parents exchanged a glance, and a new silence bloomed, heavier than the last. Would the truth bring them closer, or would it unravel everything? As the sun dipped below the horizon, Jenna felt a storm gathering, both thrilling and frightening. She knew this was only the beginning. The real battle for the lake house was just around the corner. What secrets might surface next? Jenna watched her parents with a mix of anticipation and trepidation. The watchful gaze of her mother softened into something almost maternal, but her father's face remained drawn, the lines around his mouth deepening with the weight of unspoken concerns. It was the kind of silence that felt electric, each heartbeat echoing in her ears, urging her to break it. "We need to understand what changed for you," Jenna said, her voice steady but pleading, searching for a crack in her father's facade. "Why does it feel like the lake house has become an anchor instead of a home?" Her dad sighed, rubbing the back of his neck as if he was trying to massage away an invisible pressure. "It's not that simple, honey. There are memories tied up in that place, both good and difficult. It's more than just bricks and wood." Jenna felt a lump rise in her throat. The unease in his words hinted at layers of family history they had never fully explored. "What do you mean by difficult?" she pressed, leaning in. "We're all in this together. Whatever feelings you're holding, you can share them with us." Her dad exchanged another glance with her mom, and Jenna felt the suffocating weight of secrets. "It's just we've had some tough years, with your grandpa's passing and transitions that left marks on all of us. The lake house reminds me of those times." Amy, who had been silently observing, chimed in, her tone gentle yet firm. "We get that, Dad. But aren't we stronger as a family? We can find ways to build new memories. We could even honor Grandpa by creating something fresh, something he would have loved." Jenna nodded in agreement, a spark igniting inside her again. Think of summer barbecues, family game nights, memories made by each generation. Isn't that what he would have wanted? Her mom smiled, but Jenna caught a glimpse of apprehension flickering across her dad's face. "And what happens when the house needs repairs?" he asked, his voice laced with concern. "What if it becomes too much, and I can't take it on anymore, or worse, what if it leaves stormy waters between us?" Jenna clutched Amy's hand tightly. "We'll do it together. It could be our project. If we're committed to keeping the family spirit alive, we can make it work, can't we?" The challenge hung in the air, but her dad finally nodded slowly, his resolve wavering. "You both want it that badly, huh?" "More than anything," Jenna said, her heart racing. Just then, laughter erupted from the party inside, a jarring reminder of the life they had back there. Yet it felt distant, like an alternate reality. Jenna took a breath, steeling herself for what she hoped would be a turning point. "Let's take it as a trial then. We'll have the first family barbecue next month. We'll test it out together." Her parents exchanged glances, and Amy let out a quiet cheer. I vote yes. Okay, their mom said softly, but remember, we're going to need everyone working together. It won't always be easy. Every effort will be worth it, Jenna replied, confidence blooming. Yet, a flicker of doubt began to creep into Jenna's mind. What challenges lay ahead? What if the effort wasn't enough, or if a tension on the lake house revived all the hidden tensions among them? As the sun dipped further under the horizon, casting shades of gold and pink across the twilight sky, Jenna thought of her grandparents. She could almost feel their whispers, guiding her. But with them came questions, sparking a whirlwind of possibilities. What if the single challenge they faced was not the house itself, but uncovering the family truths buried within it? As the stars started to appear, Jenna felt the weight of their uncharted road piled high with both excitement and dread. What shadows might they confront in their quest to reclaim the lake house, and will it truly bring them closer as a family? Jenna's heart raced as she stared out at the lake, the water a mirror reflecting the twilight. She had ignited a spark of hope with her family, but dredging up the past scared her. What if the echoes of their shared history were too loud to bear? She took a deep breath, forcing herself to focus on the excitement building inside her. All right, let's make a plan, she said, turning to her family. We can brainstorm ideas for the barbecue and how we can give the lake house a fresh coat of paint literally and metaphorically. Her mom nodded, eyes lighting up with a mix of emotion and determination. That sounds like a wonderful place to start. We can each take a role. Maybe I can handle the food? Jenna saw her dad's expression shift, uncertainty hanging in the air. But there's a lot more than food that needs handling, he interjected slowly. It's not just about the meal, it's about the memories. If you're thinking of doing this right, we might stir up some feelings. Jenna sensed his reluctance. She squeezed Amy's hand again, searching for reassurance. We can manage it, she insisted. This is the beginning. We'll unpack the memories and navigate through them together. We're ready for this. Yeah, Amy chimed in. We're all in this together, remember? And you know what they say about facing hard things sometimes, it creates stronger bonds. Their dad seemed to contemplate that, the weight in his face lightening ever so slightly. Okay, he said at last, if we're doing this, we should keep things honest. No holding back. Jenna felt her chest expand with hope. Maybe they could truly make the lake house sing with life again, not just memories of sorrow but laughter and love. Excitement bubbled within her. Let us make a list. How about a bonfire? We can roast marshmallows, tell stories, maybe even invite some old friends of Grandpa's. That sounds great, her mom said, her enthusiasm rising. And we could organize some games. What did your grandparents always play? Capture the flag was a favorite. Jenna replied, recalling vividly summer nights filled with laughter. She could almost hear her grandfather's booming voice calling players back to home base. As they exchanged ideas, the nervous energy shifted to palpable excitement. They began brainstorming who to invite, what dishes to prepare, and how to set up the backyard for games. Yet, even in that whirlwind of eagerness, Jenna sensed a darkness lingering just under the surface. They weren't done uncovering the past. As the breeze rustled the leaves, she couldn't shake the feeling that with every suggestion, they were peeling back layers of old wounds. Would her father's reluctance resurface when they were all together? The following week, with a renewed sense of purpose, Jenna drove to the lake house with her parents. The familiar sight sent a rush of memories through her. The worn steps, the peeling paint, everything felt just like she had left it. Yet it was different too. Let's get to work, her dad said quietly, as they stepped inside. But there was something in his eyes, an echo of apprehension. So, let us start here, Jenna said, leading them into the living room. We can rearrange the furniture, make it feel big and open. Just remember, we might uncover some ghosts while we're at it, he replied, his voice low. Jenna felt a shiver run down her spine. Ghosts. They weren't just the kind you could see, they were memories that haunted. What if the past disrupted their progress? And in the hushed silence, as they began sorting through boxes filled with dusty memories, Jenna asked, what do we do if we find something we weren't ready to uncover? The answer hung in the air like an unanswered question, leading them to the shadows of their family history lurking beneath the surface. Jenna's stomach twisted. Were they truly ready to face everything that awaited them in that old, cherished house? As the sunlight faded, she remained uncertain, her heart pounding with dread and excitement. Only time would reveal if they could reclaim their family bonds along with the house, or if they would find themselves unraveling in the process. As Jenna and her family moved deeper into the living room, dust motes floated in the late afternoon light, dancing like tiny specters among the piles of forgotten treasures. Jenna unearthed an old box, its corners frayed and its leather worn. Something about the box spoke of secrets kept, stories untold. "Hey, check this out," she exclaimed, pulling the box onto the coffee table. "What do you think is inside?" Her mom joined her, peering into the box with wide eyes. "Probably some old keepsakes," she said, her voice suddenly thick with emotion. Jenna could hear memories swirling between them. As she opened it, the faint scent of lavender wafted out. Inside lay a jumble of faded photographs, yellowed letters, and a rusted key. "Wow! Look at these." Jenna lifted a photo of her grandparents laughing under a tree, their smiles bright and full of life. "They look so happy here." Amy leaned in, pointing at another picture. "That us look how tiny we were." Jenna felt nostalgia wrap her like a warm blanket. But with it came a pang of loss. Tears pricked at the corners of her eyes. "It feels like they're watching us, doesn't it?" Jenna's dad stood a little further away, his arms crossed, a storm brewing behind his eyes. The silence between them grew thick as the past loomed larger, pressing against their reunion. "If only they were here to see this," he murmured. "Dad, let us share the stories," Jenna said softly. "We can bring them back to life." "We need to." He nodded, but uncertainty lingered in his expression. "Why don't you start?" Amy prompted, flipping through the photographs. "Tell us about them." Jenna felt a slight rush of resolve. The lake house wasn't just walls and furniture. It held the laughter and love of generations. "I remember Grandpa told the best ghost stories around the campfire, all about the lake and how it was enchanted." "I never believed it," her dad said, a small smile flickering across his face, but Jenna noticed the hesitation behind it. "I did," Amy added, her excitement bubbling over. "I used to think I'd see mermaids if I looked hard enough." With each shared memory, tentativeness began to dissipate, replaced by a connection that felt both fragile and potent. They stumbled upon more photos, each unlocking a piece of their family history. But soon, they reached a thicker envelope, heavier than the rest. Jenna felt a tremor in her fingers as she hesitated before tearing it open. Inside were letters addressed to her grandparents, each one exuding warmth and love, but as she skimmed the words, she realized they bore signs of family disagreements. "What's this?" Jenna whispered, brows furrowing. Her mom took a step closer, sensing the tension. "Oh, those. They were written during a tough time. Your grandparents had their struggles, like any family." Jenna's heart sank. Here was the shadow she had feared. What if this was the beginning of a cycle? The thoughts swirled in her mind, wrapping around her heart like a vine. Could they overcome the fractures that had once torn them apart? "Do we have to talk about it?" Jenna's voice wavered, and she glanced between her parents. Perhaps some memories were better left untouched, shadows hidden away. "Maybe not all right now," her dad said, breaking the silence that had enveloped the room. "We can take our time. But we can't ignore them entirely if we want to move forward." Jenna nodded slowly, realizing that they would need to confront the past eventually. Standing at the edge of discovery was both thrilling and terrifying. She looked out the window, the lake shimmering like a living tapestry. "What if we find deeper wounds?" Jenna voiced her concern. "Then we heal together," her mom replied, squeezing her shoulder. "One step at a time." Feeling buoyed by her mother's words, Jenna took a deep breath, a mix of anxiety and determination filling her heart. This was family. It was messy, it was beautiful, and it was worth fighting for. As they continued sifting through the memories, Jenna felt hopeful yet anxious, knowing they were at the precipice of something big. But there was still one question ringing in her mind. Would they emerge from this journey stronger, Or would the past return to haunt them? The thought lingered as they were lost in memories, already hinting at chapters yet to be written. Jenna was back at the lake house, armed with memories and the resilience of a family trying to reclaim not just a space, but their very foundation. It was a new dawn, the sun rising above the lake, casting golden hues over the still water. Today's the day, Jenna reminded herself, steeling her nerves as she surveyed the worn porch swing, which creaked a familiar tune. Inside, her family gathered around, each holding their own pieces of the past. Her parents wore expressions of cautious hope, while Amy's eyes were bright with anticipation. Today, they would confront the past head-on and wrestle with the shadows that had haunted their family. "Are you ready?" Amy asked, her voice steady yet laced with an undercurrent of anxiety. Jenna could feel the grip of fear mixed with her excitement. Today was about honesty. "Let us do this," Jenna said, her voice firm as she led the way to the living room, its warmth enveloping them like a cherished embrace. "Remember those letters we found?" Jenna began, the words spilling forth. "I think we need to start there." Her mom nodded, taking a deep breath. Those letters were real. They reflected the struggles, the points of tension. But they also show how much love was woven into our family, despite it all. "But maybe we can break the cycle," Amy added, stepping forward. "We need to be open with each other and address what's really impacting us, so we don't repeat the past." Jenna's heart pounded as she looked at her parents. "It's scary. But we can't keep silencing our feelings. Let us be raw and honest today." Their father stood up straighter, emotion pooling in his gaze. "You both bring up a good point. We've kept things bottled up for too long. Your grandfather dealt with worries I didn't fully understand as a child, and that weight shifted down. I didn't want to burden you with the harder parts of life. That's not how family works," Jenna said gently, her heart expanding with understanding. "We share the good and the bad, we can't let it fracture us. We need to explore this together." Her mother squeezed her hand. "You're right. But sometimes it's hard to let go of what we've known. Letting you kids into the complexities felt risky. What can we do to change that?" Jenna pressed, her determination shining through. "We must talk, no matter how hard," her father said, looking directly at them both. "Let us share the weight of the past so we can all move forward." With an unsteady breath, her mother began. "I remember sitting at the table, hearing whispers of family struggles. Your grandparents fought hard to keep us together, but they often struggled to communicate." As the words unfolded, one by one, Jenna found herself holding a mirror to her own fears. The dialogue deepened, each story unveiling layers of hidden emotions that had long sat dormant, waiting to be freed. Together, they shared the times of joy and pain, blending the two into a tapestry stronger than any individual thread. By the time they finished, tears flowed freely, but the heaviness that had woven through their hearts began to lift. Jenna felt an undeniable shift. The weight of the past had transformed, morphing into something lighter, guiding them back together like a family reunion at the lake. "Maybe it's not just about keeping the house," Jenna said softly. "It's about what it represents. By reclaiming it, we preserve not only the space, but our love and our memories and this family bond we've begun to redefine." "Absolutely," Amy chimed in, her voice cracking with emotion. "Today marks not just a commitment to the house, but to each other." In that moment, they all knew they were writing a new chapter. The sun streamed brighter through the windows as they moved to the porch, laughter bubbling as they began planning the family barbecue, each idea filled with love and possibility. Jenna pictured the warmth of their voices mingling with the crackle of the fire and the scent of roasted marshmallows. "This time, we'll celebrate all of it, the stories, the struggles, the beautiful mess that is us," Jenna declared, her heart swelling with determination. Standing together, their arms wrapped around each other, Jenna could feel the tides turning. She had reclaimed the lake, the past, and transformed the future of their family into something radiant. As dusk began to settle, the family gathered under the expansive sky illuminated by a myriad of stars. United in love and hope, they made a pact not just for the lake house, but to shape a legacy based on acceptance, remembrance, and love moving forward. Jenna let out a breath she didn't know she was holding. They made it through the storm, and the sun was bright on the other side. This was a journey, one of healing, adventure, and transformation. Now, as they stared out over the shimmering lake, Jenna couldn't help but feel the overwhelming sense of unity that filled the air. They weren't just a family any longer. They were a coalition grounded in love, ready to stand together through every ripple life might throw their way. This was just the beginning. Remember, great stories await. If you want to see how this journey continues, you need to subscribe now. Hit that bell for all notifications to stay connected with our adventures. Leave a like right now to show your love and support for what we create here. Share this powerful transformation with at least 5 friends who need to see how family can heal. Don't wait not even one more second to spread this inspiration. Join us in building a legacy together.